Good afternoon, boys and girls. Welcome to our second week of our Tales and Tales summer reading program. We are going to go over what's in our packet for this week, talk about some of the things that we can make using the directions in the packet, and talk about our special program that will be coming later in the week. So our packet for this week can be picked up at the youth service desk at the main library, and it says backyard habitats, bug hotels, bird feeders, and butterfly puddlers. And we have a set of directions right here that tells us how to make all three of those, and we'll be working on two of those today. Inside of our packets, we have a couple of extra things. We have a coloring picture, take it all out right there. We got a crossword puzzle, and we have this week's prize, which is our little paint sheet, and a tails and tails button. And there's a bunch of different types, so if you don't get the one that you like, maybe check to see if your friends have got one and you can do some trading. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you guys today how to do the bird feeder and the butterfly puddler. So we'll go ahead and get started with those right now. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to talk to you how to make a tin can bird feeder. You guys notice I've already kind of got one started here, but basically all it is you need to get a food can of some sort. Maybe soup, SpaghettiOs, beans, carrots, corn, but a can about that size, maybe a little bigger. And you want to make sure that you, first off, open it up, eat all the food, and then wash it out. Be sure while you're washing it that you go ahead and take the label off as well, because that could harm a bird if they decide to munch on it. So after you've got your can, you need to decorate it. In this case, I started out with some permanent markers. You may want to use some paint instead. And of course you will need a paintbrush of some sort if you're going to do that. Now let's take a look at these markers, because the green and the red and that metallic blue I had did pretty good. Oh, this blue is not working out that well. You can kind of see a little bit, but it looks more green on the can than blue. I don't think the yellow is going to work that well either, but I may be wrong. Yeah, yellow's not working. In fact, I think this yellow is actually dried out, so that might be why it's not working. Let's take a look at the orange finally. And orange is working. It's not the brightest of oranges, but you can still see it there. So it looks more copper because of the metal from the can than orange. So you can use the markers, or you can use, like I said, some paints. I'm not going to use the paints right now because that's a bit messy to be doing here at my desk. Now you notice I've got this craft stick right here. That is going to be a perch for the birds to land on. So you'll have your bird feeder sitting right here, and the bird will go flap, 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 and perch. Not hopefully do that. Perch right here and eat the food that will be inside the can, which should be bird seed. But to make sure the perch is sturdy, you want to glue it down inside the can very nice and tight. And in this case, I used a hot glue gun and just went in here. I'll put a little extra glue in there just to make sure it stays, and glued it into the can. So now it stays pretty tight and sturdy. One thing I want to remind you guys to do too, because I just realized I didn't do it, is that while you're decorating your can, whether it's paint or permanent marker, let it dry before you handle it. I'm going to have to wash my hands a couple of times now to get some of this off. So once it's dry, once your perch is glued down and sturdy, what you want to do is get yourself some string, yarn, or ribbon, something that you can tie around the can and use to hang it in a tree or wherever it may be that you want to have the bird feeder. So pretty simple to do. You're going to make sure that this side is down. You're going to take a piece of a part of your string and you want to wrap it and then tie it around the can. And it's sliding a little bit, but the thing is, even if you tie it nice and tight, you should still be able to move it around. So then you're going to unroll, and the length is kind of just depends on you, how far you want it to hang down or not. You'll use your scissors to cut the string, and you will tie it around the can again. Oh, I can't get a hold of it. There we go. So one loop that you've made, you want to push toward the front of the can, even it up so that the knot is on top. Push the other one toward the back. Line the knots up the best you can, and what you should be able to do at that point is you're going to be able to hang it. And once you have it hung, throw some birdseed inside, and hopefully you'll see some little feathered friends land and have a snack. I suspect that some of us are going to see some other non-feathered friends, like maybe some squirrels as well, but those are kind of cool to watch too. So that is how you make your tin can bird feeder. Now, if you're interested in more to do with the bird feeders, if you come to the library on June 23rd at 1 o'clock out on the library lawn, we will be making these out there. Now, it's limited to 25 people, and it says registration required. That means you guys need to let us know that you are going to attend this program. You can do that by coming in and filling out a quick little slip inside the library at the youth services desk, or you can go online and register that way. We'll have a link to that posted with this video. So I'm going to go ahead and move this aside. We're going to go ahead and move on to the butterfly puddler. Now the butterfly puddler is a little bit different. We're going to use something metal, just like we did with the tin can. This is a pie plate. And with the pie plate, you want to make sure that before you use it, you eat any of the pie that is in the pie plate. It would be a shame to waste all of that pie. And if you guys notice, I've got a couple of weird little things in here. I got some broken tile pieces. I've got some plastic turtles. Those are going to be important because they are going to be the things that the butterflies and other bugs that will use this need to land on. So once you get it once you get your pie plate, figure out what you're going to put inside for landing spaces for the butterflies, you're going to need to put some food in it. So butterflies usually eat nectar from flowers, and it's basically just kind of a naturally produced sugar water. So if you take a little bit of water, a little bit of sugar, mix in maybe a little bit of fruit juice, maybe put a couple fruit slices inside the pie pan, you should be able to get something very close to nectar. So once you get your mix made, pour it into the pie pan, but make sure you don't go over or cover whatever landing pads that you've decided to put in for the butterflies. Now at this point, you've got two options as to how you want to display it. Like this, you can just take it right outside, put it on the porch, lay it out in the garden, wherever you might have a space to put it. But you can also hang it. Now, hanging it is going to require you to punch some holes inside of the pie plate. And that can be done with pretty much any sort of sharp object. Maybe a sharp pencil, an X-Acto knife or craft knife, or some scissors. If you use any of these to punch holes, be sure you get your parents' help, because sometimes it can leave some sharp edges. Now, once you get your holes punched, you're going to need some string, yarn, ribbon, whatever you want to call it, because you're going to hang it. Cut a piece out. I'm going to cut another piece out. That's going to be close to the same size. Doesn't have to be exact, but since I've got it, I will do it. All right. So you're going to take one piece of the string. When you punch your holes, you want to make sure that they kind of line up across from each other. Mine aren't lined up perfectly, so it may not balance correctly. So you're going to take one end of the string and you're going to thread it through one hole and then thread it through the other hole. Oh, I got the turtle there. And then you are going to tie it off. So you've got kind of a little handle right there. And then you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Pull it through and then tie it off. And now you should have two handles. You should have two handles. And you should be able to use these to pick up your pie plate. Now, right now, when I pick mine up, you can tell because I didn't place the holes quite correctly, things are off balance. So what you may want to do when you get it ready to hang, play around with how you place the landing pads to balance it out so that it hangs pretty decently. And again, this can sit in a tree. Maybe you've got a hook in the garden or something, or a stake in the garden you can hang it from. But wherever you feel like, or you can just totally leave that string off and just find a nice spot to set it and watch whatever creatures come to take a drink out of your puddler. So guys, that is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have some fun making these. If you make these and want to share some pictures of them with us, please do so via our Facebook. We'd love to see what you're working on. You guys have a good summer, and I'll see you next time.